You joining me today. And today we've been looking at this concept, continuing on looking at this concept of a Old Testament line where it says just this be humble, that idea of humility and how humility really works and how humility is connected in with humility as we would understand it, as well as with as well as with compassion, as well as with just this surrender, as well as with just this idea we need to make ourselves do things on occasion. Now it all kind of comes together to create this beautiful sense of freedom that can be at the very corner of our souls. And I was thinking this morning, like we could list a skazillion gifts, a skazillion of them that we have, just the fact that we're able to be alive. I mean, what are all the gifts there? And what I want to focus on today that's connected to this is this idea that one of the primary gifts we have is this gift of freedom. And it's freedom in that we don't always get to choose our life circumstances. I mean, I kind of think God puts us in this kind of the circle, and we don't choose much of it. I didn't choose to be born in Western Pennsylvania. I didn't choose my parents. I didn't choose this. I didn't choose that. But within that circle, there clearly have been choices, and there are choices, that we're constantly given. And one of the choices that we always have is this choice around choosing good or choosing evil. And that's really key. Now again, there are obvious caveats to this, folks. There's caveats around addictive behavior where people no longer have that choice, where they just have a compulsion, and that's very true. So I don't want to be too glib about like we're all free to choose all things at all times. It's not that, but we do get to choose our basic orientation towards life. We get to choose, like, are we going to align our intentions around doing what's good or doing what's evil? I mean, it's really that simple. And that's where the aligning of intentions is important. It's progress, not perfection. We're not going to always do it right, and we're not going to be able to choose to always do it right. We will have those circumstances where it will appear like there's no choice. But we do always get to sort of bend our intentions a certain direction. And I want to read through a little bit here about from the book Secrets of Heaven, where it talks about that. There is a sense of self we acquire, or rather, it is granted as a gift. The gift of liberty or freedom is the actual receiving ground for the goodness and truth flowing from the Lord. That's just a really interesting perspective, and I was thinking about it. Yesterday I was on a little phone call with my daughter and my beautiful granddaughter, who's all 2 years old, and she has this wonderful little high chair that comes up to the kitchen counter, and it's not a high chair like where she gets food dumped. It's a high chair where she literally is a high chair where she can crawl up and she can help mom cook. And I think that must be the way the Lord sees it a lot. Like it's kind of like we're two, and He knows the ingredients and He knows the final product. But one of God's greatest joys from a Christian New Church perspective, one of the greatest examples of God's love, is what He does is He allows us to feel like we're actually the chefs in the kitchen. We're the ones who are actually cooking. That we're there to really help mom, not the other way around. And I love that perspective because it's this idea, God's got it all. I mean, if we didn't have God having it all, that's a scary thought. God has it all. And what God so yearns to do is to have us join Him at that table. And as of self, really, really do the best we can with that gift of liberty, to choose the best we can, to put our intentions around the best parts that we can, to continually kind of like flip that. And that's where things get cooked. That's where community gets built when we do that. The trick is, of course, we're to acknowledge like, oh yeah, God's really in charge of this whole thing. And on the other hand, is to do our bit. God's in charge, do our bit. And what's the gift in that? The gift is that we get to choose. And friends, just for today, just really see that as a gift. Like take a moment when you come across a situation that there might be a little call there, just to take a breath and just for a minute, instead of just gratitude over I have this in my life, I have that in my life, just be a little grateful today that we get to choose. You get to choose today. You get to choose to hold open a door for someone. You get to choose to send a kind text. You get to choose, and a lot of people here at New Church Live do things with St. Francis Inn. You get to choose to do something with St. Francis Inn. You get to choose, you get to choose, you get to choose. And sit in the gratitude of that. And really start to feel what a gift that is from God. A gift you get to choose, because when we get to choose, it leads to this gift. We get to make a difference. We get to make a difference in the world. And those little things always do add up in ways that we can never imagine. So that's the thought for today, friends. I hope that makes a lot of sense to you. And yeah, just have a day of little gratitude around the choices that you have. That's a good place to be. So with that, friends, we're going to shift gears. And the way we shift gears here at New Church Live is we have a meditative moment here. And so it's this idea of here's a thought for today. And then we just have a still moment of here's your stillness for the day too, which probably is every bit as much a gift as anything that we'll learn. So with that, dear friends, let's get a little breath and listen to the prayer bell. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, let's give a little cheery hello to folks. See how everyone is doing on this fine morning. And it is indeed beautiful out here in southeastern Pennsylvania. All right, let me flip over into that. All righty, daddy. Sorry for being a little bit slow here. Okay. All right. For some reason, my comments are not showing up today. So anyhow, please go ahead and leave some comments in written form. They're not showing up on my phone. So please go ahead and leave them in written form, and we'll get to them as soon as possible. And just wishing you folks just a really blessed day. Enjoy. God bless. Take care.